My class was a little bit different. It wasn't totally online. Um, I had 12 people like in front of me in the classroom, and then I was streaming to 5 people at Crane, which is in Bloomington, Indiana. So it was really tricky. Um, let's see, where should I start? Uh, so what I did was I zoomed to like send them live feed, and then like they could ask me questions and stuff, and I would write on the board for the people in class. And then like halfway through the semester, and this was a 7-week class, we met 3 times a week for 3 hours a day, but I don't think we ever went the whole 3 hours. We got a tablet, and so it took IT a long time to set it up, but I did get to use it for one lecture. But the crappy part was when I would write on that, like Zoom would record it, and the people at Crane could see it really well, but the people in class couldn't see it because I had no way to hook it to my computer or my projector to display. So what I had to do was open up the ET looking projector and like hold it down there and write. And then I had to like speak directly into the microphone on the tablet so that the people at Crane could hear me. But then I was like all bent over and stuff. And I had to keep moving the tablet for the people in class to see it projected on the board. So that was my biggest challenge, was communicating in a manner that they could, like both groups could hear me and see what I was writing. But anyway, in my classes, I like to throw a lot of humor in there. And so, and I did have here, like the first couple of weeks I had a start here button, which had like an overview of where everything was in Blackboard. Like if you want to send everybody an email, go to this place. If you want to create this here. And then this was my syllabus, my calendar, which one thing I kind of found out, online learning, like you plan it and then you're set. But face-to-face, you know, I was adjusting for, oh, they learned this faster than I thought they would, or we had to spend an extra day on this. Another issue was, I guess I should explain what class this is. This is Digital Logic 241. It's required for computer science majors, and it's an elective for engineers. And it has a lecture and a lab. So the way we did the lab was one of our graduates that works at Crane, he was like the lab attendant up there. And so I would record like Zoom, and not record, but live feed, and then Alex would go around, and he's taken this class before, he did really well. And he would help them with any questions they had. That worked really well, except for the last week, he was in Seattle, so they didn't have anybody there teaching a lab. Like I couldn't look at their screens because they were writing programs and stuff. It was kind of a cluster, but I guess they learned something. And then, so I broke it into 3 different modules, and the modules are separated by the 3 tests. We had 3 tests. And then I broke down each week. And so at the beginning I said, so what do we want to be able to do at the end and stuff that we'll do? And then a couple weeks later, I started adding stuff you need to turn in, because a lot of them, like, oh, I forgot. And even when I put that on there, they're like, oh, I forgot. And then within each week, I have all my recordings. And that's me. And back, I have the homeworks and the solutions. I didn't always put the quiz solution on there because it was obvious once I handed it back to him. And the MGO, that's what I call a test, a moment of golden opportunity. I gave him a practice test for the first one. And let's see, the last week, Yeah, this is the one where I was recording on the tablet. And I wasn't too familiar with like how to do that stuff either, so that was a learning as I go kind of thing. Like I didn't know you could erase the whole page with just a couple of clicks, and I was like trying to get everything. My students were coaching me. They're like, "No, there's an eraser right there. Select everything." I didn't post the lab. Well, yeah, I did post some of the labs on here because the people at Crane like to print them out and bring them. So I would post those. For the tests, how we did that was in class it was just normal. And then for the Crane people, I would have Alex proctor them. So I would email them to some lady I never met. I guess she's the secretary there. And she would print them off, and then Alex would proctor them. That's how we did the tests. But yeah, it ended up working okay. The only struggles were I had a lot of like IT issues. Like one time I couldn't hear what they were saying. One time I couldn't see them. And it was for really obscure reasons. Like one time the computer in the classroom here, an opto updated on it. And when it did, it was always sucking the video feed. So when I tried to log into Zoom, it was saying that the camera was already taken. So they couldn't see me that day. And then one time up there, their microphone setting got messed up somehow and I couldn't hear what they were saying. One thing, there was one guy and he had to leave like a couple days before the final. And he was like, "Can I take it at a different time?" I said, "Sure, I'll just email it to you." And I said, "Be tempted, like don't cheat." And after everybody else took the final, I put the solutions on Blackboard because I forgot that he hadn't taken it yet. And when I got his test, he did really well. I said, "No problem." So then I went back and checked the like the tracking, and sure enough, he cheated. So I emailed him, "Ryan, what's going on here?" And I showed him the snips of where it showed him that he wrong there. He's like, "Yeah, I cheated." So I had to give him a 0, but he ended up passing like a 65. You got to be. But there's nothing really more that I can think to share. I learned the things I learned the most were like how to use the software, like Zoom, things like that, and then also the things we did at the beginning of class, like picking out your learning objectives, so it's more quantitative on like by the end of the semester when we'll be able to do these exact things. And then that was kind of my springboard to my schedule. And then it kind of all just fell into place after that. Whereas before I would just kind of like go through the book and this is chapter 1, this is chapter 2. So that changed a little bit for me. There's something else I was I don't remember what it was. That's it. Questions, comments?
So you might want to hook up with, we've got a guy in business communications department. His name is Kurt Gilstrap. He's actually running a social media lab on the 3rd floor of the building over there. He's got lots of tools that he's experimenting with. And the one thing he does have that you can borrow is a wireless lapel mic.
Oh, okay.
And if you need to move away from whatever station you're at, that could be very helpful.
Yeah, that was another issue because like I like to walk around and like bug the students like when they're working on problems and stuff. And I couldn't do that here. I had to like just see them.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to mention is that you caught the one cheater, right? Mm-hmm. But then, in a sense, too, you kind of left yourself open when you sent your exam to that secretary. You added another person to the loop, and you don't know what relationship she has with those other people in the class. That's true. So, are there FERPA concerns there? I mean, is she collecting the grades and sending them back to you?
Yeah, to grade it. They would hand them into her, she would scan them in, I would print them out. grade it.
Oh, okay.
And then I would scan it back in and email them to the students.
Okay. And then I know, like, me and Julie, we have to take a FERPA like class online before we proctor. So I'm sure she would have to also.
Well, she was the one proctoring, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't see anything graded.
Okay.
But that was all kind of time consuming to print everything out
Right.
and then scan it back in and email it. Luckily, there was only 5 of them. If there was like 20, it would have taken me for it.
And you didn't feel comfortable like putting it as a PDF and releasing it to them and you could sit there. Do that. There are other machines in front of them when they're doing the exam itself too.
No, they just had a table beside theirs.
Okay.
So
They don't have access.
So how many students were like in
my
class?
class,
And how many
12.
students in training was that again?
12 face-to-face and 5 up there.
Okay. And what room were you in?
3029.
Okay. Are you scheduled to teach this again next summer, or you know yet?
Yeah, normally I teach it every semester, spring, fall, summer. I'm not teaching it this fall, but then I will again in the spring, summer. But that was just a one-time thing with Crane,
Oh,
with that
okay.
group, so it'll just be in class.
Okay.
Yeah, next time. But I do want to try to make some other courses online, preferably the ones that don't have a lab component. Because if I hadn't had Alex, I wouldn't know how it would have worked that.
I was thinking, because I know Crane wants the lectures to be live, but maybe now that you had like that experience, maybe you can talk to them to see if you can, if you know, they can switch to the pre-recorded lectures and kind of like have a Q&A session versus you having to lecture and, you know, like live. And then you are open to all those like technical glitches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully, you know, they'll be more open to that now.
I didn't realize that was part of the requirement then.
Yeah.
I think they had Calc 1 and 2 up there. And if I'm remembering right, when they had the math classes, the teacher was just teaching to them. They weren't
okay.
teaching in front of someone as well.
Right.
And they did it live as well because they said the Crane students preferred having the live lecture versus the recorded. Now, I wonder if it's a factor of they're like my age, so and if they're like less comfortable with the technology.
Hope not if they're taking digital logic.
Well, yeah.